Kent E. Nielsen here, and I'm delighted to have you with me. Christ came into the world to do the will of his Father, and he prepared a way for you to do likewise. Join me to put him first in your life, receive the fruits of godliness, and realize your divine mission to be like him. You were born and commanded to do greater works than he did. Now let's go to work.
Have you or a loved one experienced real pain? Pain such as being diagnosed and clinically treated for a mental disorder? If so, you're going to like today's episode. I'm going to dive into a screen share now and share with you a story of my life and how I've experienced mental illness as well as had loved ones experience it. Here we go. As if returning home from a mission to outer Mongolia wasn't shock enough, meaning coming from a third world country to a country of the land and the free, where everywhere I walked, I could hear and understand what was being said, to coming and visit a loved one who was very close to me, who was how do I phrase this? Who was locked up, so to speak, and court ordered to a state hospital for the mentally insane, mentally disabled, those with mental disorder, and he was being treated for a nervous breakdown. And this blew my mind. I was aware of this disorder. I was aware of the challenges that he was facing, but to come home and see him in that experience shocked me. And it set me on on the way home from that experience. I decided that what I wanted, here I was fresh off my mission. I've been keeping the rules, doing what I was supposed to, serving the Lord. And the seed was planted in my mind after I left that experience that it was my greatest fear to have the same experience. Fast forward 4 or 5 years, then I awoke. And I had been out of it for about 2 weeks, and I had been likewise court ordered to the same state hospital. And I was so out of it that I was wearing, they had me wear a mask because they were afraid I would spit on the judge when I was court ordered to this state hospital. And after about 2 weeks from time of an arrest for trespassing, which charges were dropped, by the way, but I got the help that I needed. That's the important part. I got the help that I needed. And when I was in the hospital for about 2 weeks, I woke up after they had pinned me down and shot me with some medicine because I refused to take it. I woke up and I recognized where I was because that's this very same room that I had visited this loved one previously, some 4 or 5 years previous to my personal experience of having this. So suffice to say, I understand painful personal experiences. This was a painful personal experience for me. And just to add emphasis to that, just prior to that hospitalization, I broke up with my fiance. While I was in the hospital, my car was impounded and sold. And I also gained 6 pounds, 60 pounds in 9 months. I dropped out of college after I got back out of the hospital. I went for a semester. I attempted going for a semester, and I couldn't even make it up the hill for the campus. The walk was too arduous for me. And I dropped out of school. I stopped dating for 3 years, mind you. And but I kept doing what I was supposed to, kept being a good boy, kept going to church, kept magnifying my callings, kept working, kept doing what I was supposed to. At the same time, I was sleeping 10 to 12 hours a day. And I got a job as a courier. And for 3 years, I pounded the books. As a courier, I just listened to the audiobooks, pounded. And I prayed to understand why. Why am I facing this greatest fear? Why am I being diagnosed with mental disorder? What did I do? Who did I hurt? Who did I offend? Is it God? Is it me? What is this? Why am I having this painful personal experience? And finally, the answer came out of one of those books. And here it is. This is what you've been waiting for, the punchline. So often, the invitation to greater consecration comes by means of painful personal experiences. That's a powerful, powerful quote. This quote changed my life forevermore. I'm going to read it again. So often, the invitation to greater consecration comes by means of painful personal experiences. With that quote, I had what Stephen Covey calls a paradigm shift. It shifted everything about my life. And within a year of reading that quote, I was dating again and engaged and married and back in school. And my life trajectory was forevermore changed. So what was the insight? What is the paradigm shift? So what this was teaching me is that this painful personal experience wasn't because I was cursed. It wasn't because I did something wrong. It wasn't because I was abusing some kind of alcohol or drug of some sort, because I did none of that. I wouldn't even take aspirin because I had this in my mind's eye that if I took medicine, that I'd become addicted to it, and then blah, 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 and I end up with a mental disorder. It was such a fear of mine. So I was simply given this experience so that I would change my life from just being a good boy to being more like my master, to draw me closer to him, to give me a stepping stone, not a stumbling block, to help me draw closer to him. And as a result of that, my life was changed forevermore. So I'm going to dive into here a little bit about how the wise men system helps us to do this. So in this process of that we call life here, we have the three different areas that we need to improve, and that is the character, perfections, perfections, and attributes of Jesus Christ. And as we're developing those, moving from one to the other, he gives us challenges. He gives us invitations, and sometimes they're painful personal invitations. And through turning to him and having an eye single to him, through making Jesus the mark, Jesus the focal point, the aim of your life, when you allow that to happen, then things happen. Things happen, including sometimes painful personal experiences. Here, I got a shot of my family. Prior to that experience, I was single, wasn't dating, and I stopped dating for 3 years after that happened. Then I met my beautiful wife here, and we now have six children, and we're super, super blessed. But that wasn't the end of my painful personal experiences, mind you. I had that experience another 10 years later, and another experience just like it another 10 years later, or 11 years later. So what is this point? The point is that this, you'll notice, is cyclical, I should say, in that as you develop character, that there are perfections, plural perfections. You grow perfection upon perfection. And the closer you come to the Lord, the more he refines you and helps enable you to be better. In John 15:2, in the Young Living Translation, it says, "Those that bear fruit shall be pruned to bring forth more fruit." And the Joseph Smith translation of the Bible says in Hebrews 11:40 that God, having provided some better things for them through their sufferings, for without sufferings they could not be made perfect. So this refining, this invitation to be consecrated, greater consecration, comes through painful personal experiences. And as a result of that, you are drawn closer to the Lord. And as in Job's experience, where he faced his greatest fear, after he pushed through it and drew closer to the Lord and helped it refine him, he ended up with twice what he had before. So in conclusion, I have this bonus scripture. It's Ether chapter 12, verse 27. And in this is a sequence or a pattern that teaches you how to implement the wise men system and teaches you about how to turn the painful personal experience to a positive one. And so there's part of the equation is first is if men come unto him, he will show them their weakness. Notice here, it doesn't say weaknesses, it says weakness. And what I'm proposing to you in brevity of time is that weakness, that singular weakness is called the natural man. It is called, and the natural man has many, many, many ramifications of that. But the five senses of the flesh are a result of the natural man. And you can utilize those things for good or for ill. And so he'll show you this weakness, and he gives us this weakness that we will be humble. And so what happens when we recognize, hey, my body is governing me rather than the other way around, then that process is made known to us as we turn our life over to the Lord and we recognize, wow, I need to govern my body rather than my body tell me what to do. And as you do that with humility, his grace or his enabling power through the at-one-ment or atonement is sufficient for all that will humble themselves before him if they humble themselves before him and have faith in him. So faith is action. Then he will make the weak things become strong unto them. So in conclusion, so you've had a painful personal experience. I truly bleed for you, and I understand the pain and the suffering. And I give you this invitation. Look at it through a different lens. Look at it as an experience, as an invitation to be better, an invitation to draw closer to the Lord. Because when you do in humility, he will turn that painful personal experience to a growing experience and help you transform it and transmute it to a positive experience that helps you to have compassion, understanding, and enables you to serve other people that have had likewise experiences. And as a result of turning to the Lord and exercising faith and moving forward and drawing closer to him, this weakness will be made a strength, and you will be able to move forward with good cheer, knowing that our Master, Jesus Christ, has overcome the world. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me for a brief mental workout. Wise men do their mightiest works with their mental exertions. I encourage you to take time to ponder on the weightier matters of life and to govern your body with pure mental exertions, rather than having your body tell you what to do. You are welcome to connect with me further at my link in bio, where you can access my book, my social handles, my latest creative updates, and even request coaching services via email. I have been given much and am here to serve. Thank you, and God bless you to be fruitful in doing your mightiest works. Good day.